Hey, it's time. It's time for story time. Welcome tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the art of storytelling. Stick around. I'm going to talk about how storytelling can benefit your YouTube content creation and bring more views to your channel. Let's go and start our story. So Alex used to cook for her friends and was cooking for her friends, and they were so amazed at her cooking. He said, your food is so amazing. You make the best cinnamon rolls. Wow, I love those pasta dishes that you make. You are such a great cook. Such an amazing cook. Why don't you do a YouTube channel? I bet people would love to see your recipes that you're making. So Alex sits up her cell phone and she cuts on lights in her kitchen. She's trying to get herself in the spotlight there, and she makes her first YouTube video. And it makes her sad. Nobody watches her video. She's like, what do I gotta do to get people to watch my YouTube video? What do I need? So she watches the YouTube videos of other cooking channel content creators. She's like, oh, I've got to see what they're doing and see what kind of stuff that they suggest and watch the way they present and the way to get started. And then she starts looking at YouTube analytics and she gets, kind of depressed. It's like, oh man, this is so hard. But I could do this. What if I did better lighting? And what can I do? So she set up her kitchen and she put more lights in her kitchen and she got in front of her phone and she started making her YouTube videos, and she had so much confidence, and she knew that people would watch if she just did her best. And if she lit it just right, she just knew it. Now, why is the art of storytelling so important? And we'll come back. Stick around, because you want to know how the story of Alex ends. So, let's go. Let's talk about why storytelling is so important. So, we have for ages, thousands of years, have told stories. This is how we literally spread news around. You had minstrels who went from town to town to spread news. That was the only way. They didn't have newspapers then. And then, was sitting around with friends. We tell stories that's happened in our family and things like that. Storytelling has been requirement for living. The power of storytelling for YouTube success. Storytelling is the most influential tool to connect with your audience. Stories make your content relatable and memorable. People they won't maybe remember the information you gave, but if you told a great story with it, then that information is going to stick to them like glue. Because as humans, we are wired to respond to stories on an emotional level. If you've been watching my vlog, I've been talking about some things that have been going on with me. And so, some people have left some really amazing comments. And so, obviously, at a human level, I am connecting with some people who are watching those videos. And then, you've got the building blocks of a great story. Now, maybe you've read Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. The hero, the protagonist your audience roots for, that could be the person in the video. It could be somebody else. It could be the subject of the video. And then you've got the conflict. What is the challenge that they're facing that they have to overcome, as that our hero faces? It could be they're facing illness, or like the story of Alex. She's got bad lighting in her videos and she doesn't know how to present, and she's like, I'm a great cook, people love my cooking, but something is not jiving, people just aren't watching. And then you've got the transformation, how the hero overcomes and changes. And so Alex is going to see, we're going to see if Alex overcomes those challenges. And then you've got to use different storytelling styles for your videos. You've got personal anecdotes where you share experiences for connection. You tell a story about something that's happened to you, and others might be able to relate to that story. Maybe it's something that's happened to them, and so it hits them deep, and they hear, "Oh man, yeah, that happened to me. I went through that. That was tough." And then you've got case studies that show how you've helped others. So, when people leave comments and say, "Hey, Roy, that video was great. I learned this from that video." Those are, for me, like case studies. Those are why I do this channel, because I help somebody else. And then behind the scenes to build authority, especially for brands, but, behind the scenes to kind of show what your setup looks like so other people can get inspiration from what you've done to set up. Because, hey, when Alex was watching those cooking videos for other channels, she's like, "Oh, well, they're doing lighting this way, and they've got this particular camera, but I don't have to have that camera. My phone is just fine. I'm going to use it." And then you could do, fictional narratives to kind of have a brand identity or for entertainment. And then you got to find your story's core. What's the goal of your story? Are you wanting to educate? Do you want to inspire? Do you want to entertain? Who's your audience? What struggles or interests do they have? So a lot of times our jobs as creators is to answer specific questions that people are asking and help them find a solution for it. And then what's your unique angle? What do you do that's different than other creators? What makes your story compelling? What's really, what are you saying that others want to hear? And then your audience is the hero. You set up, you present their problem or their desire, you show the obstacle, the challenges they encounter, and then resolution. How did the video or product help them succeed? And so this is what we're doing through the art of storytelling. And images tell stories too. You've got B-roll that supports the narrative visually, and then symbolism, which adds depth and emotion, and then setting can establish the mood or the context. And then you got sound design. Sound design is the unsung hero. You've got background music that set the tone for the video. And then you got sound effects. And, that enhance the realism or add humor. And then you've got voiceover, so it kind of delivers a narrative or instruction clearly. And then you get to the point, you turn your viewers into subscribers. You've got the ask, direct, simple actions to take, the call to action. And then to wrap it up, you link it back to the story to reinforce the video's value. Now, let's go see who's out there watching tonight. And then stick around. I'll tell you the rest of Alex's story. Hey, us here. Oh, wow, got a lot of folks. Marcus, how you doing, sir? Welcome. Good morning, Roy. Hi, Marcus. Hey, Dagan, how you doing tonight? Hey, la. I made it. Just arrived from bringing my daughter to university. Oh, man. University. Hey, Big Red in the house. How you doing, sir? Laura, welcome. Saying hi to Dagan. Hey, Roy. Hey, Stuart. How you doing tonight? Hey, hi, Big Red and Laura. La. Mommy God. Stuart. Mommy God. Thanks, friends, for being here. Yes, thank you so much for being here. It'd be sad if I had to tell the story and nobody was here to watch it. Don't forget to like the awesome live stream. Well, let's see if I'm awesome first, and then if you do like it, I would appreciate you hitting that like button. Hey, Stuart. Storytelling is the oldest form of networking. That is so true. You when you can tell a great story, it builds friendships. It really does, And sometimes if you share that story, if that's a story you've lived through together, saying, "Hey, Stuart, yeah. Big Red, so true, Big Red. Yes, that's true. Saying, "Hey, Dagan. Oh, this is great. Oh, thanks. You decided described this so well, Roy. I really need to lean into this more, as I do like telling stories. Yeah. Amy, always such an encouragement. Does reading the audience help in leading you to decide which stories to tell? Yes, it does. Listening to the questions that your audience ask. Sometimes folks are nice enough to leave comments and say, Roy, I'd love if you do a video about this. You know, if you kind of feel like people keep asking so many questions, and Amy, you may have to tell Lala how to spell your name, because I know you don't spell it that way. Hey, bud, under the weather, but wanted to at least say hi. Hey, welcome, Dan. I hope you get to feeling better. Hey, Adam. Wow, you've been releasing so many inspirational videos. I love your Garmin discussions and everything. I definitely hope, Dan, you get to feeling better. Yep, hope you feel better soon. Hello, Tech. Hey, Nicholas. Hey, Dan. Hey, Adam. Marcus in the house. Yeah. Your story is the most interesting, and that's true for everyone. Everyone's story is the most interesting. And sometimes it's just the way you tell it. Saying hi to Amy, Nicholas. Why is my phone making noise in the middle of things? Stop that. All right, so anyway, you're supposed to mute your phones before you go live, right? Remember that, because I obviously didn't. Hey, Mommy and Dagan. Yep. It's awesome content and great reminders. Yep. Tee-hee-hee. I totally don't mind, Amy. Yep, thanks. And Sammy Superstar in the house. So let's go back to Amy. And let's see what's happened with her. So she was cooking for her friends. She tried making her first video. She wasn't thrilled about the results of it. And she watched a bunch of other cooking show YouTubers. And she learned all kind of great tips from them. She probably watched Miss Denise's channel. Then she started looking at her YouTube analytics. And then she got excited. She felt really good about the way she had set up her shot and the way she had her kitchen all set up. She was so excited. And then she had this great idea. She's like, my grandmother has this amazing recipe. She has this amazing cookbook. And she was originally from Italy. And she made pasta from scratch. And I'm going to talk about how she made the pasta. We'll get the pasta rolling machine out. And then we'll cut the pasta. And then I'm going to show you how to make bread. Make this great, amazing rustic bread. Just 4 ingredients. It's just so amazing. And you won't believe the taste. It tastes so amazing. And then my grandmother had this sauce, and she would take these tomatoes and cook them, and then she used so much basil. I loved it because it had so much basil in it. And then garlic. She put fresh garlic, and so with that garlic and basil and those fresh tomatoes that she used in the sauce was incredible on the pasta that she made. And she loved taking the bread and dipping it into the sauce and just taking big bites. And it was just so amazing. And her grandmother gave her that in her will. She willed that recipe book to her. She said, I want my granddaughter to have this book because she has such a love for cooking in the kitchen. And so Amy talks about spending time with her grandmother in the kitchen as she's prepping this meal on her YouTube channel, on this YouTube video that she's making. And this story excites her audience. They love hearing about it. And then she begins cooking more recipes and telling more stories about spending time with her grandmother, how every day after school she immediately went to her grandmother's house, and her grandmother was always in the kitchen, always wearing an apron, it seemed, and was always cooking something for the family, and that the family loved to sit at her table and eat supper with her 2 or 3 nights a week because grandmother loved to cook so much. And so Alex, our hero, is telling that story to everyone. And her channel blows up. Her channel blows up. Now, This is her cooking for her friends after her YouTube channel blows up. But then I saw it and I said, well, this is a really Spartan looking kitchen. She should have a fancier kitchen if she's doing well with her YouTube channel. So then this graphic came up. This doesn't seem like the Amy we know. It just doesn't. But this is Amy celebrating doing so well on her YouTube channel. I thought, well, that's an okay ending. But the way it really ended is that Alex got a YouTube play button. Alex got the YouTube play button, and she was so excited, and her channel kept getting better and better and better. And it's all because of her grandmother's recipes and the story that she told. Okay, anyway, and the story that she told about her grandmother. And so it was the food, it was the story, and all that allowed her to blow up her channel. It was the art of storytelling that for her allowed it to engage with her audience, her community. She had members in her community that wanted her recipes, so she shared recipes with them. She had people in her community that wanted to tell her about their experiences with their whatever person was amazing in their life and to tell about what happened with them. And that is the art of storytelling. For me, as I'm describing the ingredients, I'm thinking about that bread. I'm thinking about that sauce. I'm thinking about the experience of making the pasta. And so that's Alex's story. That's how she built her channel, was through storytelling, giving a shared experience that people could connect with so that people will watch her channel. And in the end, she got that YouTube play button, the silver play button. I like her here. She looks happier here. She also looks like she, I can't even think of the show that was on Disney. I love that show. But anyway, so Alex cooking with her friends. That's her grandmother. Yep. Going backwards, that's why it's not here. Silver play button. What's your story? How do you tell a story with video? How do you teach a concept and tell a story so that that concept connects with your audience? We talked about that tonight. So, yeah. Recap it really quick. It's all about the power of storytelling for YouTube success. The hero, the conflict, the transformation. Telling personal anecdotes, the case studies, behind the scenes. You got to figure out what's your goal. You want to educate, inspire, entertain. Who's your audience? What struggles or interests do they have? What's your unique angle? And what makes your story compelling? All right, let's go see how everybody's doing out there tonight. Finish up here. So, yes, storytelling really can bring to life the content creator too. Yes, it can. Hey, Cheryl, welcome. Totally love that. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, squad, I'm here for this story. You missed it. I already told the story, but, you can go back and hit replay. Team replay. Hashtag team replay. She used the play button as her cutting board. It's true. Yes, she took her silver play button and used it as a cutting board. Mary Lou. I just got here. Hey, Matt. Can you start her, please? Haha, just kidding. What's my story? Well, it's complicated. Yeah, but that is the whole thing. Adam is telling the story about training for a half marathon at Joshua Tree National Park. That is pretty exciting. I would love to just go to Joshua Tree. But the build up to that story and his accomplishments and his challenges and those things that he does that get him to complete his hero's journey, that is the story that we all want to see. Love this. I love your adulting shirt. Yes. Yes. Hey, Mary Lou. Very inspiring story. I want to be like her in the future. Lala, you are her already. You built a crafting channel. You have built a following. You have built a community. You have built friends all over the world. You have met them in person. A lot of those friends even love the presentation style setting. So try to mix up and make it a little different tonight. So hello, Adam and Matt. All right. Oh, let's see. I didn't get to the last slide. Let's go to the last slide. Let's see. The last slide. Here we go. Ta-da. Questions and answers. Let's connect. So, what questions do you have? They're saying, Laura, so what things? Last slide with you. I know, I had to do the last slide. I did. And, hello, Tech Troll Maker. Hey, Philip, how you doing tonight? Good to see you, sir. So, that is a short version of storytelling. Why is this stream so amazing? Because I'm excited about content creation, and I'm excited about sharing information, and I have the most amazing community because you guys are awesome, and I hope others find this awesome as well and are able to get value out of it, because that is my goal every single time I hit that record button and every time I hit that go live button. So, Stuart. Hey, Laura. Hey, Stuart. Florence. Everyone in chat. Hey, I do want to tell you about Florence. Florence has been helping me. If you watch today's video, I talked about the fact that Florence has been helping me as a productivity coach. I have been doing Zoom sessions with her. She is trying to help me get myself on track with not just my content creation goals, but life goals as well. And if you're looking for a great productivity coach, she is amazing. Go visit her Equip Institute channel, and you can find links to get to her Buy Me a Coffee, which will connect you up with her if you want to do coaching with her. She is fantastic. I've gotten a ton of value out of our sessions, and so I know I'm challenging, but she's trying. She's trying really hard, because I am a difficult person. So, yeah. What's a go-to story you love to share? Well, I have a lot of stories. Probably I have some crazy ones. Probably the craziest one is my Rikki Lake story, which I have shared, I think, once before on this channel. Let's see. So, my best friend growing up was out of work for a period of time, and he was watching the Rikki Lake show. Now, for those that don't know, Rikki Lake was a talk show that came on during the times when Jerry Springer and Maury Povich were shows people watched. And, well, he called into the show and said he thought he would be a great guest for the topic they had. Now, I'm not going to discuss the topic. This is a family channel, so we're not going to talk about the topic. But let's just say they decided that they wanted him on the show. But they wanted somebody who didn't agree with him. And so None of his family were willing to go on the show. So he talked to me and said, hey, would you go on the show? And I said, well, I definitely don't agree with your mindset on this particular topic. And then the Rikki Lake, but when he said we were going to be on the Rikki Lake show, I thought he was kidding. Yes, I did think he was kidding. So then Rikki Lake show calls me, their producers call, and they ask me questions about my friend and his particular story. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way he feels, unfortunately, and I completely disagree with him. So they said, well, great. So they overnighted us airline tickets to fly to New York. So we flew to New York, him and I. We flew to New York. We got picked up by, I don't know, it was a nice looking car. It was a Lincoln or something. It was a nice car. And we got dropped off at a hotel called the Dalton. I don't know if that hotel still exists, but it looked like it had been a fancy hotel at one time, but it was a rundown. It was no longer the fancy hotel it once was. It looks like it used to have been a luxurious hotel, but it was run down. If the Dalton still exists, I hope they fix it up. And so we get to our rooms. They had rooms for us at the hotel, paid for. So we go to our individual rooms, and the phone rings as soon as I get in the room. And basically, they're asking me questions about my friend's story, basically confirming that, yeah, that's legit him. And yes, legit, I definitely disagree with him. And sure, yep. So he tells us we're going to pick you up at like 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. So him and I go downstairs and eat breakfast, and then we get in a car. It's nothing fancy. We get in a car, we get taken to the studio. I don't remember where the studio is. So we go to the studio, and we're sitting backstage, and it turns out this show films 3 episodes a day. So there's an episode already recording, and we are on the middle episode of the day. So they put a little makeup on us to kind of keep our faces from glaring in the cameras. And then they have me come out, and they're trying to get me to do a promo, and they keep trying to get me to lie. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to lie. No, I don't hate my friend. Why would I say that? That's not true. They wanted me to say something salacious so that would be more interesting. And I wouldn't. So they probably weren't going to use that promo. But they start our episode. And so my friend is sitting between 2 other guys who have a similar opinion as he does. I'm just going to give you a hint. It has something to do with, well, Bunny Ranch. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say Bunny Ranch and leave it at that. So the first guy, Rikki starts talking to the first guy, and he answers her questions, whatever they were. I'm backstage watching I'm in the green room watching on the monitor. And then they get to my friend, and she asks him the same question. And his eyes roll back in his head. Well, no, first he says, what? And his eyes roll back in his head, and he falls out of the chair and is having a seizure. There's nobody's doing anything. The audience is laughing because they think this is part of the show. I run out. I don't know what to do for somebody in a seizure, but me and one of the guys pick him up. We'll turn him on his side because I know you're not, supposedly I guess you don't want them to swallow their tongues. So we turn him on his side, and I'm like, you got anybody, a doctor or anybody medical here? And they don't. So please call an ambulance. So when he stops having the seizure, me and one of the guys pick him up and put him in the chair. Now he is out. So me and the guy pick up the chair, and they lead us to an office backstage. And he's coming out of it, sort of. And I said, hey, man, you okay? Yeah. I said, do you know where we are? No. He said, we're on the Rikki Lake show. No, yeah, we are. We're on the Rikki Lake show. He says, who are you? He doesn't seem to recognize me. The ambulance finally shows up, and the paramedic asked him, "Do you know who the president is?" And he says, "George Bush." At that time, Bill Clinton was president. It wasn't George Bush. And he did not know what day it was. And then he kind of snapped out of it. He's like, "Whoa, wait, what happened?" I said, "Man, you had a seizure." He's like, "What?" And yeah. And so I said, "We need to get you checked out, man." He said, "Oh, no, I can't go to the hospital. It costs too much money." And the guy's like, "Are you from New York?" He says, "No." He says, "Don't worry about it then. The state of New York's going to pay for it." So we get in the ambulance. They take him out on a stretcher, and I follow along, and I go, and they hand me a business card. They said, "When he gets out of the hospital, call this number." So I go with him to the hospital, and like an idiot, I should have said I was his brother, because he was my brother from another mother. We might as well have been blood kin because we were so close growing up. And, we had fallen out sometimes growing up, but we were close and hung out together so much. And so he was an amazing friend. Got me in a lot of trouble, but he was an amazing friend. So they take him back. The hospital, by the way, is Bellevue. And I'm like, I always thought in TV, Bellevue was always a mental hospital, but it's a regular hospital. It does have a mental ward on it, but because some TV show had Bellevue as the mental hospital. I don't know, but it was Bellevue Hospital was the closest hospital where we were. And he was back there for hours, and I didn't know anything. And then all out of the blue, he just walks out. Wow, what did they find out? I said, well, they didn't find anything out. They just asked me if this ever happened before, and then I said, "Well, has he?" He says, "Yeah, well, about 4 years ago." "What? You never told me." I said, "What did they tell you to do?" He said, "They give you any medicine or anything?" He said, "No." He said, "They said when I get home, see a neurologist." Okay, so we call the number on the card and say, "Okay, well, we're done at the hospital. Can you come get us?" Well, I guess they were worried. A stretch limo picked us up with a cool moonroof. Had the little champagne thing in the middle. We didn't have a champagne bottle. There was like a newspaper. Obviously, somebody had been in the limousine before we got there. We get in the limousine, and of course, we open up the moonroof, and we stand up, and we look out. We're going under the red lights and everything, and it was just amazing. It was just fun. I haven't been in a limousine since. We get to the hotel. We go up to the room. As soon as we get to our rooms, the phone rings in both of our rooms. And they ask us, like, "Is your friend on drugs or anything like that?" Like, "No, he's a drinker, but he doesn't do drugs or anything like that." "Well, has he ever had this happen before?" He said, "Well, he told me he had it 4 years ago. I didn't know about this." But, anyway, it was crazy. So I went downstairs to get something to eat, and I ran into one of the guys that was on the stage. And I said, "Well, what'd they do?" He said, "Well, they went and filmed the show without you guys." And I'm like thinking, cool. I haven't wasted my 15 minutes of fame yet. And cool. So the next morning, we get picked up in a Toyota Corolla and taken to the airport. Needless to say, we didn't get the stretch limo on the way to the airport. It was pretty much so long and thanks for all the fish. And we get to the airport, we fly back. That's the Rikki Lake story. Now, the funny thing is, many years later, unfortunately, my friend passed away a few years back. And his family asked me to do eulogy. So I had written something up for the eulogy, and his family said, "Hey, can you tell the Rikki Lake story?" And I'm like, "What?" Jeff told me he didn't see. I always thought the story was amazing, and it turned out my friend Jeff was embarrassed by the story. I did not know this 2 years later. Him and I talked one day, and he told me, "Yeah, I'm just embarrassed by that story. I don't tell anybody that story," because I'm like, I'm telling everybody this story because I think it's just so funny and amazing. Are you sure? So I cleaned the story up just like I did for you guys. And so I said, "Well, his family has asked me to tell this story." And I said, "Jeff may not want me to tell the story." So I began telling the Rikki Lake story. And while I'm telling the story, over on the left side of the sanctuary, there's a poster board with all these pictures of Jeff. And While I'm telling the Rikki Lake story, his sister says one of the pictures fell off the poster. I'm like, that's just Jeff telling us he didn't want me to tell that story. But the story got so many laughs, and it just reminded everybody of Jeff, because Jeff was just so amazing. And, that he was a cut up, he was a clown, he did crazy stuff. And sometimes he convinced me to go along for the ride. And so that was the Rikki Lake story. And again, I'm thankful I didn't burn up my 15 minutes of fame. So one day I'll get that 15 minutes, I guess. But that is probably one of the craziest stories. I have others, but that's probably the craziest one. So there you go. Mary Lou, you got it. You asked for a story. I was, so let's get back to the chat here. Let's see. Okay, let me, I'm a little bit behind here. Let's see. Oh, I got some questions too, but anyway, so, that's awesome answer. Tons of value here. The beast needs. Yep. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. My question: you deliver your content at a fast pace. Is that intentional? If so, why? 2 reasons. 1, I get very nervous, and so it causes me to talk faster. Second of all, my average view duration is lower than I would like it to be. So I want to keep people watching, but I probably do need to slow down. I get hyper. So I see y'all in the chat. This makes me think really how I'm using storytelling in a jury. Why do I talk so much? I go on and on. Heaven's blessing, curse, who knows? Yeah, Matt, you've got some great stories as well, and we love interacting with you. So, yes, Rikki Lake. I was also thinking Montel, Sally, Donahue, Jeannie Jones, Morton Downey Jr. Yeah. Was Rikki Lake mentioned? Yes, she was mentioned in a Rikki Lake. Yeah. Even Rikki Lake was batch creating. That's true. She did 3 episodes a day. It's probably in Long Island City. It could be. I don't. I think I looked at where Bellevue was. Batch creating. Oh no! What in the? Well, yikes! Hi, Cheryl. How old are y'all? So, 20, 19, or 20. We were 19 or 20, something like that. It was, yeah, we were 19 or 20. Hey, WT, hey. What year was this? It was a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Bill Clinton was president, so that tells you what time period it took place. I can't even remember. No wonder Rikki Lake was taken off there. That's hard. It is. I miss Jeff. Jeff was really gifted at fixing things. And so if I had something broke at the house, he would come over and help me work on it, because he was just amazing at stuff. And I was inept, but he was much stronger than the posture. Yes, but it was an anecdote to kind of tell you, that was amazing. I do miss him. I think of him often. Jeff was amazing. Meeting story rip Jeff. Yep. These are stories you should be telling. Fellow viewers, Lower East Side. Been there a couple of times to visit people. Yeah. So, yeah. One day I'm gonna write a book about Jeff. It's been on my to-do list for a long time. So, yeah, I do miss Jeff a lot. When I'm working on any kind of crazy project where I feel like I am not qualified to do that project, I'd say, Jeff, this would go so much better if you were here. Or when I'm painting, because he painted houses a lot. And so when I'm painting stuff, I'm like, Jeff, I know I should do better at cutting in around these corners when I'm painting stuff, but I don't have the patience to paint. I suck at painting. I am not the guy you would call to paint your house. You might ask me to do plumbing. I can do some light plumbing. I can do some light electrical, but don't ask me to paint your house. So, yeah. Let's see. I don't worry so much about AVD on live streams. I I'm always amazed at how much rewatch happens on my episodes. You should have a segment where a guest can tell similar stories. I have a bunch. It's true, and I know I'm supposed to reach out to Awesome Wood Things guy. Actually, the Awesome Fun Things guy. I'm supposed to reach out to him about being on my show here soon. So, beautiful story, masterfully told. It's easy to tell the truth as it happened because crazy events happen. Anyway, that's our show for tonight, y'all. Thank you so much to everybody that came by. I would love it if you would hit that like button. That does help YouTube know, hey. And if you got value out of this, I know I'm not supposed to tell you multiple call to actions. I was only supposed to tell you one call to action. But share this video with people. Okay? The art of storytelling is really important for YouTube content creation, and I want us all to continue to get better at it. And so, yeah. All right. Let's see. I got applause. Truth indeed. Yes. All right. We're out of here. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by. The world keeps hiding. Anyway, so as we figure out what's going on here, there we go. All right, hey y'all. It's gonna have a little circle in the middle that says subscribe, and then over there, YouTube's gonna say this is the next video you should watch, and I would be humbled if you would watch that video and leave me a comment that said, "Hey Roy, I watched this because you told me to," or because YouTube suggested it. So thank you so much. Bye.